cleared up. So for the sake of cutting the VOD up, I'm just going to redo the introductions real quick, guys. Spawning in the lower right corner of the map, from the team Love Your Girlfriend, a new acquisition. It is the Red Protoss, Tassadar. And his opponent in the lower left, playing for Axiom, it is the Blue Zerg Impact. And this is a matchup that couldn't be better unless it was best of 3. 2 Korean players going to go at it here in the North American Cup, and of course both of them are really good. Impact, I don't believe, has won a ZOTAC Cup before, but Tassadar has always been here. He's always been rather prevalent in the brackets. I mean, FOU, FXO, doesn't matter what team he's on, he's usually playing in these weekly cups. So this is kind of his stomping ground, his home turf. Give him the defender's advantage. I don't know. There's nothing. I'm just talking smack. There's nothing that has anything to do with anything. Alta Team Stronghold is a curious map to have, though, for this matchup. It's a very large map. 20 bases makes it the largest map currently available in StarCraft 2, but that's not the point. The point is this natural base is so secure and so safe, it's really hard to apply pressure to it. I mean, you know, typically you want a cannon rush. Typically you want to maybe do 3 gates, pressure, +1 timing, whatever. None of those things are really as viable for a Protoss player because he's got to go off this very small choke. And Impact is actually going to play this out really greedy. I haven't seen players do this for quite some time because a lot of the times in tournament scenes, there's a little bit more on the line. When you're playing for WCS, you don't want to risk everything by taking this 3rd hatchery so quickly. But Impact's going 3 hatch, spawning pool, then gas most likely in a moment here. Either way, not the greediest opening, but a pretty darn greedy opening that he will get away with because Tassadar, first off, again, can't push up this ramp, but also will miss scout twice before finding his opponent. Although he should know with the Overlord coming in from the left where Impact spawned. Yeah, and the pro swing sent down here to confirm. Cool. Takes his own Nexus behind this too, so really not going to play super greedy himself, but still gets that nice economic opening here. No need to rush out a Mothership core, no need to really put the pressure on, because you know that it's just going to be kind of fruitless in the end. Now the one thing that could go well for Tassadar is because it's only one small ramp that leads out, it's kind of like fighting a natural base. He could, technically, possibly, just force field this off and apply a lot of pressure with Zealots, take down the base, and walk away home. But we'll see what the case ends up being. This map is one that definitely lends itself to airplay as well. Whether it's Mutalisks coming from Impact, whether it's Void Rays and Phoenixes coming from Tassadar. With the amount of terrain you kind of have to walk around just to get to your opponent's base, sometimes it's going to be a little bit better. Just take that straight line and go through with Mutalisks. 3 queens coming out here. If he gets a couple extra queens, then he can really just start spreading creep like ham crazy. And if he does that, that'll give him a good advantage as far as map control goes in this game. Again, with such a big map, the last thing you want to do is be caught off guard from an attack coming out of nowhere. And he is actually searching for pylons right now. Will he see the probe? It's not in range of the auto attack of the Ling, though. So whether Impact actually saw that or not, I'm not too sure. But probe will safely stay alive for now. Dark Shrine, though. Okay, I'm sorry. I was too busy looking around the map. I wasn't paying attention to the build here. This is a little bit curious, a little bit cute. So if this pylon goes unseen, no, the Overlord will see this. Okay, the Overlord has to see this. There we go. The Overlord does see this. Warping Dark Templar would be really cool if he can catch Impact off guard. Now, Impact actually, because he takes these 3 hatcheries early, has to spend a lot of his resources on droning, getting Zerglings out, getting Queens out, being able to defend if something comes his way. In fact, 6 Queens in total. Oh my god. These are those extra Queens I was talking about earlier. Because typically, versus Protoss, you don't have extra Queens. It's usually 1 or 2, right? But when you go for a greedy opening like this, you want a lot of extra Queens, you got a lot of extra defense to make up for the fact that you went for that quick third. Because of this, his layer is late. And that's the point I'm trying to drive home right now, which means no overseers, which means dealing with Dark Templar is going to be doable, but not easy. In fact, just now taking his gases here. Oh god, Impact. Oh man. Tassadar loses the pylons. That kind of sucks. The Dark Shrine is not complete just yet. There we go, now he just finishes up. Can probably warp in here immediately if he can. Spore Crawler's coming down though. Did he see the Dark Shrine? No. So I think these Spore Crawlers are meant to be more like anti-Phoenixes, anti-Oracles than anti-Dark Templar, but of course they will serve that same purpose here quite nicely. A couple Lings getting picked off here. And whether he actually saw them or not, he is aware of the Dark Templar. The Lings are chasing after them right now. Spore Crawler is going to provide a little bit of vision temporarily. There's no Spore in the main though. Oh no. There's Spore Crawlers everywhere except the main. Gonna reposition the Spore Crawler to try and make sure you can get here in time, but Dark Templar already going on a bit of a rampage. Lots of Queens here will transfuse the hatchery if he focuses, so that's not gonna happen. Focusing the Spore Crawler is not an option either, so just trying to do what damage you can. Needs to split up these Dark Templar though, because right now sitting in the main, yeah, that's just gonna get them killed. New Spore Crawler coming down here at the third, so safe than sorry. He's gonna put a little bit of pressure on here. Very limited on what he can do. Backs away with the Dark Templar. And of course, keeping these alive for later to turn into Archons is not too bad of a thing to have. Mid-game control too. There's not going to be Overseers out soon. You did see there was no lair, so able to control the middle of the map. Snipe off more Lings if he needs to. Metabolic boost shouldn't finish in time. The Stalker should be able to get away, and the Dark Templar should probably kill some of these Lings in all honesty, but a big reason why he's not is because he doesn't know if there's an Overseer nearby or not. I thought he had confirmed that it wasn't going to be or a layer, but I guess he never did see this base, so didn't want to risk losing the Dark Templar. Stalker still gets home alive anyways, so safe than sorry. Double evolution chambers coming out. We'll see what tech he decides to go with. I gotta be honest, is probably I would love to see Hydralisk Ling versus this sort of opening, but Roaches, Swarmos, Hydralisk, they prove to be pretty darn good. Between the cannon and Mothership Core and all this lovely DPS, lots of sentries here at the top of the ramp, these Lings should not get a lot done. I don't even know how one managed to squeeze past that sentry in the first place. But it will be Ling upgrades here. I like this a lot because what this does, of course, lend to is more of the late game transition. So while Swarm Hosts, Hydralisks, Roaches, they're all great for the early and the mid game, they kind of start falling off later on. What I really like to see is when players go for the melee upgrades, it allows them to go for this heavy Ling sort of reinforcement if they want to. More importantly, it allows you to go for Ultralisks or Broodlords or what have you and get those tier 3 late game tech units up, which Protoss players do sometimes struggle to deal with. I mean, Broodlord Infestor is not what it used to be, but it's still an option to go to if you're afforded it, the opportunity. Lots more Lings here on the way, and an Archon being warped in. God, that's a lot of sentries, though. I mean, these Lings are going to be flooding in fantastic, and there's going to be so many of them. But with 9 sentries, with about half of them with full energy, several of them brand new, I really find it difficult to think that these Lings are going to get too much done. This is typically why you have something behind them, a company like Hydralisk to shoot over the force fields. But for now, I mean, the Archon's going to provide a lot of splash damage. The Lings are going to get focused into a very unfortunate choke if the sentries can get the walls up. And looks like he's going to try and force an engagement. And Donut's going to need to go down on top of this army. Will save a couple of these sentries, but looks like a couple may go down. Oh my god, Tassadar just barely saves that one, and the Archon breaks all the force fields. On purpose or otherwise, still ends up being a nice engagement there for Tassadar. Impact, though, looking to try and get towards this third, sandwiched in between two very strong looking armies. Blink has been revealed, and we've got an infestation pit finished up with pathogen glands on the way. So this is going to allow, of course, fungal growth to go off. Fungal growth is not going to do a lot of damage. What it will do is hold these units in place. It will, fungal growth or two can actually crush the sentry count because they do end up being clumped a bit. But holding stalkers in range, nullifying their blink, can really be a big deal. There's not a full wall off, but there's his all-in whole position back at home. Lings are trying to be very active. Impact is trying to do what he can to get around this army, do what he can to dodge about it. But unfortunately, yeah, there's just so much here. Infestors on the way are going to be really nice for this, but again, fungal growth for damage is not going to be the goal. Fungal growth for holding them in place for the army to fight them is going to be much more preferable. Oh, I like this out of Impact, though. These Lings aren't getting a lot out of their life, but they're picking off pylons. They're making sure it's limited on reinforcements, and that Tassadar can't just infinitely reinforce on the front lines. No Warp Prism with this means he has to rely on this pylon, which is so far away. We'll try and secure this one. Yeah, well, Mothership Core, I'm sorry for being so dandy with the camera, guys. I'm trying to keep an eye on all the action going on right now. Tassadar is going to push on the front lines, and it looks like we got a lot of infestors here. Fungal growth does go down on the first set of units, but it's not going to be enough to really shut this down. Big blink forward on top of these roaches rather aggressively. More fungal growth being just slowly thrown out there, and these sentries are starting to crumble to that. Most of the force fields are expended. The energy is dry at this point, so forced to just fight with what he has. Lots of blink stalkers in the Archon still standing. A huge reinforcement just warped in. Tassadar really looking to put the pressure on. Couple of Queens with transfuse energy, but the spine color is all he really has to defend with. Trying to keep it alive with transfuses, just barely cannot. And the fungal growth simply won't cut it. 16 Lings floating out, some more roaches on the way. We got the drones being pulled. This is starting to look really scary for Impact, though. He has to break Tassadar here, or he's going to lose this game. Archon will fall, and it's now just blink stalkers. If more Lings come out, maybe he stays in this game a little bit better, but let's not forget, Impact has 4 bases right now, guys. Took some drone losses, we can still resaturate this one if necessary. Reinforcements still coming in strong. We got Dark Templar coming out behind us too, and of course Blink Stalkers have kind of gotten this huge amount couple of investigators coming down out of desperation, I would say, more than anything else. Roach is being brought to the front lines, but still breaking his army is not going to be the easiest thing to do. Blinking backwards, Tassadar is trying to retain his forces. Some very individual blink micro making this look fantastic. Seeing which units on the front lines are being picked off. Moves into the infested Terrans and maintains this army. Impact has got almost nothing left. The queens of the infestors simply can't hold this. Lings are coming out 12 at a time. There's no more roaches, and this is not looking good for our Axiom player. Oh god, this is a terrible thing to look at the resource loss. But Tassadar is not exactly miles ahead of his opponent. The reinforcements, though, maintaining the stalkers is just a little too much. Good game is going to be called, and Impact will actually be choked out. So Tassadar will advance forward, guys.